Why not do it right now?
We are. That's what we're trying to do.
For the editing.
I know. That's right.
Let's edit the shit that I got.
Oh, man.
The legend. Booga booga boo. Hey, this is Lasky, the legend, Brett. Listen to Timo and the Harley Show. Listen to it, or do whatever you do, man. Booga booga boo.
Did you get that too? I'm sorry. I tried not to laugh. Dude, that's the best. That might be our best since Bill Johnson.
How much are you going to chop it up?
He ain't going to chop it up at all. He's going to make it nice, and it's going to flow right into our show. Timo's good mixing, soul fixing.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in Minecraft, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Hubba Harley.
Hey, that's me. Hey, Timo, how you doing, my man?
Not too bad. So check this out. In the space-time continuum, as we call it, and again, if you listen to the show every week, you're just going to have to you're going to have to listen to me say this, because some people are newbies. I know it. But we record the show a week ahead of time.
Yes, we do.
So we're a week behind the real time. I know it's difficult to understand. Just try to prep for this show. Just think about that when you don't know what week it is.
We're coming from the past.
That's right. So in our world, we haven't gone to Vet City Con yet. In your world, as you hear this, it's over. It's over. So
it's over.
We will be reporting back from Vet City Con next week on our show.
We'll have some good stories to tell.
I hope it's calm and enjoyable.
Yeah, me too.
Calm and enjoyable. I like that. Because this weekend, as you are listening to this, February 2nd will be the big Fragile Porcelain Mice
rock and roll extravaganza.
That's right. 25th anniversary of our first CD, Amigo de Fuego, which is phonetically incorrect. And let's see, it's also a 105.7 The Point birth month show. It's a hell of a labor.
Is it their 25th birth month?
Their age is actually about the same as ours. We might have, to be honest with you, I think we've been around a little bit longer than a point.
Really?
I do remember driving to a gig or something or a practice. It's one of those memories I have. It's real.
One of them.
Yeah, it's. But I do remember talking about how there's a new quote alternative station coming in town, and since the music we played was in that ballpark, we were pretty excited about it. And
I bet.
First couple of years, or like right away when they came out, they played like a lot of Sting and REM. And we looked at each other like, we were waiting to hear like Dinosaur, the Replacements, like anything else that was a little more underground than that. Sure. But eventually they did kind of take a turn
in that direction.
Yeah, and they really did champion local music like no other radio station. There is a public radio station, KDHX, which has always been a phenomenal station. It's it's public radio. So, I mean, it is what it is, but they were always phenomenal about that. They just didn't have a big listenership. And this was the first radio station in town that had like a really big listenership that actually supported local music and stuff. So,
nice.
Which is cool. So we like doing that.
It's their birth month too.
It's their birth month too. Yeah, we kind of birthed ourselves around the same time. Look, without the point, we wouldn't be who we are. So it is.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
I mean, they really helped a lot. They really did. So we got
you
that.
guys are gonna rock out. I can't believe 25 years.
That's right. That's not even the band. That's just the first compact disc we put out. That was a few years after we got started. So. So it'll be February 2nd, Delmar Hall with super fun. Rocket ship. And then we got our old pals, Snake Ranch.
Snake Ranch.
Rob Wagner is up in that mug, and then Mark Sova, the guy that painted my picture that's in my commode. Got him in there.
One of the greatest oil paintings ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you like Mark? He paints everywhere. He goes around and he travels the country painting murals and things like that. Yeah,
that was one of my little dreams. Mm-hmm. I painted a mural.
He started later. He just started doing it. So, but yeah. So it's gonna be a good time, Mr. Ben Harley. We will report back on that. That'll be like 2 weeks from now because again, it's a week ahead. So I'll have to experience the event before I come back and try to explain it. That makes sense.
Explain it?
Yeah. Or I could be like Facebook and just lie my ass off even if I didn't go.
That's true.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Mr. Ben Harley, as we do every week, let's go through some stuff we watched here.
What you got, my man?
First up, this is kind of funny.
Okay.
So lately, one of the last weekends, Svengoolie played Village of the Giants.
Yeah.
So I couldn't let that go. So we had to watch the Mystery Science Theater version of Village of the Giants. And Mr. Ben Harley, I want to report to you, thanks to you jogging my memory.
Yes.
We did watch that on Shout TV.
Yeah, they got some good ones on there. Mm-hmm. They do. They actually, it's nice because when I first got my little Roku television, there was a lot on there, but then they kept adding, like tons of them. I must report back though on some of them sometimes to you. I haven't got to watch as many as I would have liked lately.
Right.
But I have gone through most of them. But yeah, that's great, Timo. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had fun.
I'm glad I jogged your memory.
Yes, and not one ad. I think I still tell you if you sit there and hit play and don't hit pause and stuff, you probably don't get an ad.
Yeah, and it seems like the more you watch, the less ads you get. Whatever.
Right. So anyway, good time. Good time. Enjoy watching it. Old Mystery Science Theater.
That's a fun one. That's a pretty fun one.
Yeah, we used to watch that one a lot. Let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley on Amazon Prime. A couple things on Amazon Prime here.
On the Prime. On the deep Amazon Prime? Tim, I told you I celebrated my 1 year anniversary.
You did.
Speaking of anniversaries. Okay, good.
You did. You are now a 1 year older.
Yes.
On Amazon Prime.
On Amazon.
Prime.
I'm 1 year deeper.
Now, did you get like any kind of certain certificate in the mail where you are now like you're one rung above, so now you can go a little deeper into the Amazon now that you've been there a year? You got a little seniority now. Seniority.
Yeah, it was a little thing that said pay us $127. No, actually, let me say it came right out of my bank. So my bank told me they sent me the certificate and said, "You, my friend, are 1 year deeper."
Right. Well, how convenient. Wasn't that friendly of them not to even bother you until after they did it?
Yeah. No, I'm so convenient.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So,
but I'm excited. I'm excited to launch into my second year of Amazon.
Oh my gosh, it's so worth it. I love it. Well, here, I got some disc stuff here I watched. Let's see. Yeah. I didn't write down the date. I apologize for that. I know it's like the mid 90s. Watched a movie called Deep Rising.
Yes.
The luxury liner movie with the tentacled creatures on it, and then the guys trying to get nuclear bombs or something like that.
Yeah,
off of it. So Treat Williams, directed by Stephen Sommers. This is what he did before the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser.
Oh,
did not like those movies.
I got to talk to you about.
Well, okay. Well, then we have a little bit of an unintentional freak out, but at that same time. Let me get out of this now because that's all I really want to say about him personally. But anyway, so yeah, this was the movies that he did before that. I do enjoy this film. I do not like the creature. It's awful. Awful CG. I do not like it. But the movie is a lot of fun. So Angie and I have always enjoyed watching that. So we watched that. Let's see, Mr. Ben Harley. Also, I did mention a couple weeks ago we watched the film, or did we even review it? No, we watched it. We just watched the film The Unnameable, which was an H.P. Lovecraft film. With with what was that called? The she-goat monster or whatever. Now this time we watched The Unnameable 2, The Statement of Randolph Carter from 1992. Let's see here. This one has John Rhys Davies in it from Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Indy! That guy. It also has a Richard Domeyer in it. just happened to be in Mr. Listen to this. Everything's a Mr. with me. He just happened to be in the film Mr. Evil Dead 2. Played old Ed or whatever his name is. Harold Handsome Pants. There's only one Harold Handsome Pants in that movie. No offense, Danny Hicks. Yeah. And he's it. So now Rich plays a cop in this flick here. So it's kind of funny to see him. I don't see him in many movies. Okay. So that was interesting to see. Again, the Unable to. It was okay. Actually, I had a bigger budget than the first one. Angie and I both agreed. The first one was kind of a creepier movie. The second one was just a flat out better movie. So it was better, but it wasn't very scary though. But it's just a better put together, well made. Yeah. Well, and it's got a cast of like B-movie people a little bit. Like the first one really didn't have anybody you'd ever heard of in it. This one has like I don't know, Maria Ford. She was a B-movie actress. Julie Strain actually plays the monster, I think.
I like Julie Strain.
Yeah, well, I think she plays the monster in this. So,
yeah.
So she's the horned goat devil she beast or whatever. Not too bad. Not too bad. It was okay. Let's see here. Moving on. Now, Mr. Ben Harley, I didn't really talk to you much about this, but you and I have both had some issues with the weather lately, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Right. So Angio and I decided to watch the weather-inspired film, The Hateful Eight.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yep. The Thing, the movie was inspired by The Thing. Us watching it was inspired by the fact outside looked like The Thing, the movie. So,
yes.
I really do like this movie
as well.
I really do like this movie. I think that
it's a good movie.
I don't like Quentin Tarantino. Let me move this way. I'm not a Quentin Tarantino fan, but he's made a couple damn good movies. Yeah, and this is one of them. This is one of them because it feels like he made a Western. It didn't feel like he tried to rip off another Western. If anything, I find it interesting that he was inspired by The Thing and made a Western. That's cool to me. I appreciate that. Inglourious Bastards, I thought was really good because it was just a bizarre World War II movie.
Sure.
I mean, just weird. It was just, it was like alternate history in a way. I kind of enjoyed that. This is good. And it's long. It's like 3 hours long. But if anyone's on the fence on seeing this, now, I have heard friends who did not like this film, but it's Tarantino. You're going to love his movies or hate him.
Yeah.
You're going to love him or hate him. And I really do like this movie. It is long, but it's kind of compelling. I like the story. And I like the cast.
Yeah. This is a totally actor-driven film, I mean, and it's great.
Like The Thing.
It's got, exactly. And same thing in this. It's tight quarters. You don't know who to trust. You really don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
You don't. You really don't. I mean, you kind of piece some things together, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's set up in a way where you kind of are.
You're along for the ride.
Yeah, you're along for the ride. The timeline is not correct. So like it starts in one spot, it goes to another spot, then it rewinds to the beginning to show you what the hell's been going on, and then it concludes. And I do enjoy it. I think it's a good movie, and it does remind me a lot of The Thing and stuff. But I think the cast is very good in it. I like the Hispanic guy Bob.
Bob is funny.
I like that guy. I think he's pretty funny. So anyway, we did enjoy watching that, Mr. Ben Harry. Again, it was weather inspired. Inspired watching that. Now, last up. That's it. That's all I got. Last up. Mr. Ben Harley, it was the NFL playoffs, and I don't want to talk about them.
Okay.
It was championship weekend. The two teams I was kind of preferring to win did not win. So, therefore I went outside and had to make yellow snow. I wasn't very happy about that. So we're just going to move on.
As long as you didn't eat the yellow snow.
I walked away real quick before I forgot. I do like orange sherbet, so I had to walk away pretty quick. Now, I went on Amazon Prime that we were talking about. Your rank is going up. You're not close to me. Nowhere close to me, but your rank is going up. I'm proud of you.
I'm moving on up. Thank you. I'm working my way up.
Proud of you. If you need a sponsor or anything, let me know. I can help you out. Right. Let's see here. I know it's going to freak you out, but I went on an alien abduction freako.
Oh, you did, huh? All right.
I sure did. So first up from 2000...
Movies or documentaries?
Well, hang on.
Okay.
First, hold your horse. Now, that's part of being the Amazon veteran that I am. You got to have patience with these things. You got to kind of open them up, peel them away,
peel away. Yeah.
Like an artichoke or something.
Peel back the layers.
Yeah, just kind of peel it back. So first up, I hope you're sitting down for these years.
Oh,
first up from 2018.
Yeah.
Watched a movie called Beyond the Sky.
Ooh,
so
2018?
That's right. So a documentary filmmaker whose mom was abducted by aliens according to his abusive dad. Okay? Goes down to I think it is Roswell. Goes down to New Mexico, Roswell, whatever, and wants to do a documentary to debunk the alien abduction thing because his dad was abusive, not a good guy. So he's convinced his whole life that his dad was lying about, or just completely whacked out of his mind about his mom getting abducted by aliens. So he goes and he starts interviewing other abductees and things like that. So it's not a found footage movie, but there's elements of it. It doesn't make you sick or anything. This movie was a really good idea and started really cool. And then it kind of fizzles a little bit. The end is all right. It's worth watching, but it's kind of frustrating because it could be a lot better. It could be a lot better. But Mr. Ben Harley, given it was made in 2018, he had to throw like millennial love in there and things like that. And it's just like, okay, whatever. Anyway, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. So not only did I watch that, but I haven't said this word yet. Not about a movie, okay? But Mr. Ben Harley on Amazon Prime from the tender year of 2019.
What?
Yeah, 2019. Apparently, it was produced and made. It was that quick. Okay. Now, I'm going off the year that Amazon Prime gives you, and I have seen 50s Roger Corman movies that were dated 2018. But this was new. This was newer. It is called Beyond the Spectrum Being Taken.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is, it's a documentary about alien abduction. So I was on an alien abduction freak out, like I said. And I couldn't just watch a movie. I had to watch this documentary. And I liked this documentary. This documentary. This documentary was adult. I liked it. It was definitely pro abduction. Okay. It wasn't trying to debunk it, but it was adult about it.
Sure.
It had like Stanton Friedman in it. Travis Walton. Travis Walton was in it, and stuff. And so they of course they went through the Betty and Barney, whatever their name are. You know what I mean? The people that got abducted back in the 50s or whatever. Of course, they went through their story and everything.
That's a crazy one.
Yeah, it is. And they played some of the hypnosis therapies that were going through and stuff like that. I got to tell you something and I'm going to throw this out there for all of our Bigfoot, cryptozoology, paranormal fans, friends, or whatever out there. I'm not much on the paranormal thing. Then I'm starting this alien thing to me is really fascinating. I don't talk about it a whole lot, or nothing, but it is a little fascinating to me. I've had people in my life tell me they were abducted by aliens. I admit this freely. I laughed in their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also understand you didn't see the people telling me this. You didn't know them. Okay. So I'm not making fun of everyone who says it. I'm making fun of these in particular people because part of this documentary is saying that those people do not help them. The people who are making it up for attention or something do not help these people. But I'm gonna tell you a little story here about something that might warm you up a little, Mr. And it's gonna anger you. It's gonna anger you. But it might warm you up a little bit because I've been down on all these Bigfoot people since I've lived. Since I've lived out here in the woods, I've been down on a lot of Bigfoot evidence. Right? And I haven't said that it made a big difference in my belief system. It just altered what I thought was legitimate evidence. Okay. So the guy that's on some of these Bigfoot, paranormal, Loch Ness Monster shows, he's kind of a smug guy, and he runs Skeptic magazine. Okay, I don't know if you know who this guy is, but he's kind of.
I think so. Yeah,
you don't like him when you see him. He's always got a shit-eating grin on his face, and it's called Skeptic Magazine. Yeah. So him and his partner, and I think this guy was like his mentor. Okay, not the guy you're actually seeing. I'm trying to get this straight. Okay, I know I got the meat of the story right. The guy who actually did this was that guy's mentor who passed away years ago. Anyway.
Okay.
So when the Travis Walton story broke, I did tell you in a previous show that I watched a different documentary, and all of his crew is now backing him. Right? I told you that the people that were with Travis Walton have come forward, and they are saying that this was true. This really did happen. They all took polygraphs. Travis Walton took about 16.
Really?
Polygraphs. Yeah. That reminds me of the time the cop took me into the St. Louis police substation and gave me 6 breathalyzer tests. And then his sergeant came out and said, "Why is he still here?" And I was like, "He's fishing, officer. He's fishing." He was trying to get me drunk. Yeah, it's completely against my rights and everything. So that kind of reminds me of this. So this guy tried to pay one of Travis Walton's partners $10,000 in the 70s.
Yeah.
$10,000.
Skeptic guy?
To say,
Or his mentor.
The mentor. The skeptic guy tried to pay him $10,000 to say that it didn't happen.
Wow.
Who's running scared here?
Right, exactly.
This is the same group of people that say the same things about Bigfoot.
Right, sure.
And they're paying off people, if you're so convinced, why would you need to pay somebody off? You don't see like the Bigfoot or UFO people trying to pay off the skeptics, do you?
Right. Or is it to sell more magazines?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, you know why, right? You know why? Because the people that have seen something aren't really concerned about their legitimacy. Nope. They're not concerned about the fact they're telling the truth. They're not concerned they don't need to pay any money to know that they're right or wrong.
Right.
Whether or not what they saw was what we think it was, they certainly don't need to be paying money.
Sure.
Well, I told you, a little angering, but it might also pick you up a little bit.
Oh yeah, well because why? Why? I don't know. And it's funny. I'd watched something here recently too about some of the alien abduction stuff, and it was weird because it kind of reminded me of the story that, and I don't think about it too often. We've talked about it on the show, what we kind of saw,
right?
My friends and I, and it's funny because and I don't know. Do
you know I heard that exact story. Really? I heard that exact story. I didn't write it down. I do watch alien stuff sometimes, and I just don't write it down. It's just a little documentary, and most of them are breezy, fun. Maybe one or two things you find a little weird or compelling. This actually happened at a military installation.
Yeah,
the light beam went down through and slowed everything down for him and stuff.
Yeah,
and I thought of you right away. I thought of you right. I was like, that's the exact same story Ben told. Exact same story.
And that's like the thing too, where they it came back, didn't it? Like twice or something, like at that military base, and they had them talking, like what they were seeing. Is that one you're talking about? I
can't remember. I just know I heard that exact same beam of light that went through everything and slowed things down for them and stuff.
Yeah.
Ben Hall, you might have driven through something that they were trying to locate underground.
Right.
So something. Now I'm going out on a limb here and saying that this was a spaceship that was shooting a beam down. So I'm going with the hypothesis of that. I know you don't know what happened. Right, I know you don't know what it was, but I'm saying that. So if that's what it was, it's possible they could have been looking for something underground, and you just happened to drive through it.
Right.
Which is what it sounded like from what you told me.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing still, Tim, to this day, and it's weird even talking about it because I'm like, the older I get, the less I think about it and stuff. It's like it just doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm a pretty open-minded fella about these type of things, and I still don't know what the hell. And I'm like, when I tell people too, and I've only told like few people in my life, and
all our listeners, which is about 3 more. There you go.
Right, exactly. Very few people still. Don't
worry, it won't get out.
Exactly. Secret is safe.
Secret's safe with our audience.
Yeah, right. But it's just, it's like I almost feel like, who's you really gonna believe me? And I don't want to get to the point where I'm pushing it to have people like, yeah, whatever, Harley. Sure. But I don't know. It's just it was something odd. And it's funny, I did see one of the guys the other day that I was in the car with. They happened to be at a restaurant that we were at. So I didn't think it was a good time to ask him because I wanted to ask. One of my friends had passed away here recently. One of the guys that was in the car. Two of the others are, I still live in the area.
Right.
But I don't think it was the right time to ask him in the middle with his mother-in-law and father-in-law standing there and stuff. Like, hey, Keith, you remember that time?
Yeah. Well,
let me wasn't too far from where we were at either.
Really?
Right?
Well, let me clue the audience. I'll do it. That way, it's not you saying it or whatever. Ben had an instant. Him and his friends were driving out in the country, going to a friend's house, and they were looking forward, and there was like a PVC pipe size beam of light coming down on the road, and they drove through it. And it went through the car. And when it went through the car, like time slowed down for him. It was really weird. Yeah. And then they just went, and they went through it and it was done. Yeah. From what I know, that's what you told me. It was just one little incident that happened that was very strange.
Yeah, there was no and there's a lot of stuff out there. We have a military, we have the National Guard out there and stuff. And I know what a helicopter looks like when it's flying. And if it was that close with the beam pointing down on us, the trees would, because it was a real tight area with trees on both sides. It would have been, the trees would have been swaying, and there was stuff would have been blowing, and there was nothing like that.
Right,
it was just dead calm, kind of.
Right. So that's I did hear that story. I did hear the exact story. So it was. I'm a little. I guess maybe I'm a little fascinated, but maybe I'm just like, there's nothing new in the Bigfoot world.
Right. I've been looking too lately.
There's really nothing. I mean, I think it's kind of, look, I think we had a push. So I think what happened is that we had a few years there where it was really popular and Finding Bigfoot was out and all these other shows and stuff. Unfortunately, I just think that they overplayed their hand.
Yeah. I think it kind of hurt a little.
I do too. I think they overplayed their hand. And I think it helped for a little bit, and then the tipping point happened, and then it started hurting them and hurting them and hurting them. Because any rational person, I'm sorry, we've met all these people, but any rational person would watch any of those shows and go, "This is BS. This is just nonsense." And I don't think it helped. And I kind of think, in fairness, from talking to a couple of people and Finding Bigfoot and stuff, I don't really know if they thought it helped either.
No,
I just think it was a job. A gig. I mean, we all want to make money. We all want to be famous and popular, right? It's just natural human.
It made them famous and popular.
It sure did. Yeah. It sure did. It did split the community a little bit. But what doesn't split communities when you're talking about Bigfoot or
I'm still worried about
or whatever.
The Rogue Team and the Mountain Monster guys. I haven't heard from Huckleberry or Trapper or any of them in a while. I'm really nervous.
Yeah, well, that's your obsession with Encyclopedia Brown books. You just got to figure that mystery out. So, what do you got, Encyclopedia Brown? You got something from? Were you abducted by aliens? Did they show you anything from the future?
Week.
Okay,
no, not this week. Actually, when I go over to see Ruby and take care of her and Zoe, I watch some stuff over there because they got the Destination. HD, so I catch a few things over there. So there was some alien abduction freakouts going on. So
absolutely. Now, in fairness to just the people, Ben never said that he got abducted. He just said this weird thing happened. He never. This was no elaborate story. It was just a regular.
Took a look at the four of us and said, "No, it's cool. We're good." And I thanked them for that.
Let's see. We got Bobby, Joey. We got this guy, and we got Joe Normal over here. Fuck that guy, man.
We got Red Englehart. Snake Plissken guy here. We got
Joe Normal,
Sox Roman, and no, we're not taking those.
We got this Hollywood extra over here too. All right, let's do this. All right.
Let's keep with that kind of theme, Timo.
Okay.
This is something I think that you watched. Small Town Monsters, the Beast of Bray Road.
Yeah, Bray Road Beast. I think the title's Bray Road Beast. I know it is the Beast of Bray Road, but yes, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that lady had a hard time figuring out what to call it. Like, come on. She wrote a book called The Beast of Bray Road.
Right. So this is kind of where the Dogman thing kind of got going up in Wisconsin, right?
Yes. And this is another, Small Town Monsters documentary. And I like this one. I thought this was a very fascinating. And you can see how far, I guess, Small Town Monsters has come from their first one.
Yeah, they're getting better. It's getting better.
Big production, good production, I thought it quite interesting. Timo and I, we're kind of werewolf guys. You know,
you say we're werewolves. I'm like, I am.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're kind of werewolves. Not from London, but we're werewolves.
Yeah, no wonder I wake up tired in the morning with muddy feet. Oh,
exactly.
I just thought I was murdering people. Thank you. It makes me feel better. It's not my fault anymore. Yeah,
it's not your fault, Tim. No. It's a gift.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, don't tell Lawrence Talbot it's a gift.
No, for God's sake.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a really cool documentary, and wow. I didn't really realize the extent. And I know of this legend a little bit, but it's basically these people, up in Wisconsin around Bray Road, keep seeing a dog man like werewolf creature,
right? And
it's like frequently. A lot, and mostly at night, people are seeing it either attack like a deer, or these people are just coming up. They're thinking, well, it's like a dog or something. And they're like, wait, no, that's like a creature. But this thing is like, I don't know. It's also people are seeing it like, or they're out on the road at night, either doing something or loading something in their car, and and this creature approaches them. No, it doesn't come out and like attack them per se, but there was one gentleman had like a encounter with it where he would move towards it and it would back up. He would get down and back up and most of these people out here are out here. I'm right. Sorry, I'm in Toledo, so
right, yeah.
But people are, they know what a coyote looks like,
sure,
and things.
Oh yeah, out here too. Yeah.
And I think something that stands, and this creature is standing up on two legs, it's getting down on all fours, stuff. But a pretty interesting thing. I didn't know it was like seen as frequently. I guess maybe.
Yeah. I have a hard time with the dog man, and I'm just. Yeah. I think we talked about this last week or week before, maybe when I was talking about the Dog Man show, that something tells me it's the same thing. Something tells me that all the underwater big animals are seeing, because they look the same kind of.
Yeah.
And the descriptions are so similar. It's hard for me to think it's not the same thing. It's hard for me to think that if you're that look, I understand. I'm not going to that place that people go to where they say, oh, you were just scared it was a bear. No. I'm not going there. What I'm saying is that you're very frightened when you see something like that. So you could maybe, even if you've seen something that's not documented, you could still get the description a little bit wrong and think it might be a little more like dog-like or wolf-like. Now, on the other hand, there's different species of people and different colors of people too and stuff. So I just have until it's proven otherwise, or until I see something that really makes me think so, I'm just going to kind of go out and say I personally believe it's probably the same thing people are seeing across the spectrum. And I mean by Bigfoot to the dog man and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just something I wanted to throw in there. I just want to remind people that they might be, because Harley, you're watching this show. You tell me. You're watching this show, and did you at least at one point think, man, you going to get me believing in a werewolf now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But there was some interesting. I thought it looked really good. The way it didn't look all computer generated, like when they were showing reenactments. I thought I found this documentary to be very well put together. Now, it even showed that sometimes the thing attacking people's cars, running down the street alongside it, at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's something that I get curious about. I'm like, man, that's tough to do that in a suit. It's tough to walk in a suit, much less run 50 miles an hour.
Right. So
you sure it wasn't a cheetah man, not a dog man? Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah.
I just think it's really well done, and I'm happy for that. Small Town Monsters. They've done a good job, I think.
Yeah, it's a
good documentary.
Yeah. Their production values are definitely going up a little bit.
Well, this didn't annoy me. Just didn't annoy me with when the creature showed up. Like, oh god, here comes another ugly computer generated version, and it didn't. So I was happy about that.
Right.
All right. Next, Timo. Speaking of, what's that guy's name that did the Mummy movies?
Stephen Sommers.
Yes, I watched Mummy 2. Yeah, Timo.
Okay.
Or part of it, and I don't think the first one bothered me as much. This one, I always kind of had somewhat of a problem with it. And I just, and the older it gets, the more the computer generated stuff, and it's just awful. It's just too much. It's too much. And at that time, where we were at in cinema, they were pushing that. I mean, just too much,
Right.
The more computer generated stuff, the more action, the more, impossible type things going on, the better. It was just too much.
Yeah, it was like almost I
and that's that one. It's just too much. It's over the top. There's a couple things in that one that are okay, but for the most part, boring, barf.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So moving on, Timo. Two things that popped up on the Netflixes.
Okay.
One is that Marvel movie. Is it? With Thanos in it.
The Avengers. Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Yes. I got a few minutes into it, and I don't know. It didn't really jump out at me. I will return to it, but I know at one point Thanos picked up this guy that was talking to Loki, and I thought, man, he seems to know Loki pretty well. And I thought, oh wait, it's Thor. Doesn't look like Thor. Looks like a pirate. It looks nothing like Thor. So I did see that Loki died. So I guess a lot of people die in this one. That's basically what the whole thing is. They made a movie for everybody to cry and go, oh no.
I think the deal is that his Thanos' thing is that he needs to kill half of everything to keep the universe in balance. So he has to kill
half of the superheroes.
Well, yeah, and in his mind, he's not evil. He's necessary.
No,
he's necessary. He's not
never
evil. No, I know. I
shall return to it, but I guess I should probably go do the Age of Ultron. And I like Ultron, too. Ultron was one of my favorites in the comic book. But for some odd reason, it just, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I got to go watch them. So there's a couple I got to throw in there. Black Panther. And I watched some of and anyways, we'll get back to it, Tim.
Right. I watch Days of Future Past now with the X-Men.
Yeah,
now I'm getting you to watch that one too. Now I'm getting you on that one.
And also, Timo, I started this film and would have finished it this morning. But Mr. Ben Harley has a bad modem around here. Yeah. You might be able to tell. So yes, I did get to start this film. The movie Solo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't watched that yet, but I got it.
Wonka. Yeah. Solo. So I started, probably, let's say maybe half hour, 40 minutes in. So, not too bad. I have a hard time because I it's like, okay, it's not Han Solo. It's not Harrison Ford. You strain to be like, think this guy's Han Solo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just so, but it's not bad. He meets Chewie. You know who Chewie is?
I heard of him.
So he meets Chewie.
Doesn't meet his family in a treehouse, does he?
No.
Okay, good. Good.
No.
I'm going to keep that Star Wars special out of the equation.
Yeah. It does have Woody Harrelson. I've been on a slight Woody Harrelson freak out lately.
Okay.
And I like Woody Harrelson. Good for him. I'm glad he's been getting to do some different things lately. I watched him in the Planet of the Apes here recently. The Hunger Games stuff. He was in all of those. But yeah. So
how far did you get into it?
So good. About 40 minutes.
About 40 minutes?
Hour, 40 minminutes, yeah. So I had planned on finishing it before my modem went down, took a crap. So,
all right.
But, yes, it's okay. I don't think so far, not quite like, I didn't like it quite as much as Rogue One so far, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right. It's getting better. So that's it.
That's it?
Solo out.
Oh, yes, all right. That's all you got. All right, let's get to our...
It says how he gets his name Han Solo, too. So.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun.
I know the way a lot of basement dwellers get their name, Han Solo. And we'll just leave that. That's the unrated version. Exactly. That's the unrated version of the Han Solo.
Han Solo. How he gets his name, but it's pretty funny.
Let's get to our official little films, Mr. Ben Hartley.
Let's do that, Timo.
Let's see. Let's go in chronological order. From 1958. First up here, yes, 1958. 1958. We got the film Giant from the unknown.
Yes.
Yeah, let me get you out. Movie guy.
He's not from space.
No. Let me get you a movie guy and give you a short storyline, little synopsis here. Here we go.
Okay.
A very large, degenerate Spanish conqueror is freed from suspended animation by lightning and goes on a killing spree in a small town.
Why you gotta call him a degenerate?
That's what it said. It said degenerate. He was a little degenerate.
Yeah.
I saw that look in his eyes. I know that look. I've given that look before, Mr. Ben Harley, and it never ends well.
Yeah. Right before you swooped a woman over your shoulder.
Yeah. You've seen that look. It doesn't end well. It doesn't end well. Yes. So now here's the thing. Giant from the Unknown is your typical 1958 B movie, drive-in movie, matinee, what have you. Okay. But the thing about this, it stuck out to me. And the reason I wanted to review it, of course, I like those stupid turd movies. They're hilarious. They're great. They're one of my favorite things in the world. Second, it was the makeup was done by a Mr. Jack Pierce.
Yes, we know him.
Yes, from Universal fame. So that's kind of why I was like kind of into doing this movie. Yeah, there are. I'll tell you what. I've never seen so many geologists run into each other at one time.
Yeah, boy, they really do, Like,
dumb luck.
Yeah, like, hey, I used to be one of your students. Oh, good to see you again. He had no fucking idea.
In the middle of a mountains in like the little mountain town or something. Yes.
Nowhere.
Right. They're all meeting each other and falling in love and stuff. And it's really like about 3 or 4 people we're dealing with here. So Dr. Cleveland comes with his daughter. Okay, Dr. Cleveland, played by Morris Ankrum from Earth versus the Flying Saucers. You've seen that fellow before.
Yes,
You've seen it. He's always playing like a military guy or something like that. Let's see. Harold Handsome Pants is Ed Kemmer, who played Wayne. He was Commander Buzz Corey in Space Patrol. 1950, 1955. And he was also in the classic film The Spider.
Ooh,
yes. Janet Cleveland, I just thought you might be talking about her soon anyway, is played by Sally Frazier.
Okay.
She is also in The Spider. And she's in It Conquered the World and War of the Colossal Beasts. The giant is played by Buddy Bear.
Buddy Bear.
If my name was Buddy Bear, like in grade school, I certainly hope I was as big as that guy. I really hope I was as big as that guy. He also played the giant.
Call him Mr. Buddy Bear.
Yes. And he also played the giant in the Abbott and Costello Jack and the Beanstalk.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Story. Right. Yes.
That's a good one. Well, sort of.
And my guy in this movie is the sheriff, Bob Steele. His name is Bob Steele. He played Curly in the 1939 of Mice and Men.
Mice and Men, did he? Okay.
Yes. And we are directed here by Mr. Richard E. Kuna. Who graced us with She-Demons, Frankenstein's Daughter, Missile to the Moon, and other things that gave Mystery Science Theater and Riff Tracks a lot of material to work with. Yes. I've seen this a couple times. But one thing that I kind of noticed a little bit more this time watching it with a bit of a more critical eye is that, it's a goofy movie. It's as silly as anything you've seen Corman do or anybody else. But it's kind of a proto-slasher movie in a way. Yeah. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but I want to get you the flavor of what I'm saying before I let you toss this over to you. There's a Native American, let's call him an Indian.
Joe.
Yes, Indian Joe.
Not Indian Joe.
No, we've come a long way, though. We've come a long way. So Indian Joe is running around the countryside, and they're kind of blaming him for some stuff. And he's
cantankerous.
Yes. He is found later in the movie hanging in his cabin bloody. So this is one of those Halloween, Friday the 13th kind of tropes where the heroine or hero is frightened, startled by a corpse.
Yeah.
A victim of the... You know what I'm talking about, like in Halloween when Jamie Lee Curtis goes in the house and keeps bumping into corpses.
Right, yeah.
So that really stuck out to me. As in...
Yeah, I didn't And then if you think though too, like if it's Indian Joe who was strung up like that, for me when it came to that point, I was like, then he knew. He's like, oh, we got something really bad out there because they thought it was him.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And just the condition and the way they found him.
Oh yeah,
and it's kind of the same storyline as Friday the 13th Part 6. When Jason Voorhees gets like a tire iron rammed through his chest, and conveniently lightning hits it and makes him come back alive, a la Frankenstein's monster. This is very similar, actually. It's
very similar.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
No Arnold Horseshack.
No, those not in this one. Not that I know of. I would have found him. I would have found him. But and there's a lot of funny science going on about how things can stay crispy in milk.
Suspended animation.
Yeah, in rocks.
Yes.
Rocks definitely stop the chemical breakdown and decay of your cells, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, basically, and it was funny too, is that Dr. Cleveland, one of the many geologists that litter this film, just happens to be looking for the fucking giant up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want to put this guy on the search for Bigfoot. That's all I'm telling you, because they kind of run into this giant. What a coinky dink, right? I mean, seriously.
Right.
So that's what this movie's about. Once the giant becomes unleashed onto the earth, he finds his clothes, puts them on, kills some people, then starts taking his clothes off again.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
No.
A whole lot.
Starts leaving his clothes around, strewn about the countryside. Not unlike a stripper who's lost a marble or two. You know? So,
yeah.
What do you think, Ben Harley?
Funny. Well, yeah, I should say that the movie was interesting enough to keep me mildly entertained. Mm. Besides the monster, which was left a little bit, Buddy Bear left a little bit to be desired.
They left a lot of Buddy Bear in there.
Yes.
It's a lot of Buddy Bear. Yeah.
Yeah. But, what's the main character's name again? Harold Handsome Pants.
Oh, Wayne.
Poor guy. He couldn't be any less like threatening either. Like a nice Joe, Right. And that sheriff just hates him.
Yeah,
hates him with a red hot passion. Hate, white hot hate. And because the one of the ranchers comes up dead, right? And basically they try to pin it on Harold Handsome Pants. Because he walked past. No, wait, he did have a confrontation, I do believe, right? They might have had a couple words.
Right.
And he happened to walk past his land.
Right.
So that automatically means you're a murderer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He was
trying to pin it on him. Yeah.
Oh, through the whole film, man.
Yeah.
He had nothing but.
Not in a nefarious way, just in an ignorant way. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
And basically a lot of the film is him trying to get to Harold Handsome Pants while they're up there just doing what geologists do. Right.
Which is meet each other in the mountains.
Right. Look for giants. Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's a geologist, sure.
Conquistador giants.
Yes.
In Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Somewhere, wherever.
Now let me ask you something here while you're thinking about this. Something that I didn't catch. I might have went tinkle. I might have gotten up and gone tinkle when they revealed this. But now, if I'm not mistaken, the giant was entombed, if you will, in a big rock. Or was he buried or something? He was
buried. Well, no,
half
I think
and
he was
half.
Buried. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in a tomb of sort. I think.
Right, but he was certainly trapped until the last half or third of the film or something. They're looking for him the first half or whatever, trying to find out, and yet things are, and people are being murdered and stuff. Now, who the hell was doing the murdering?
I think it might have been Indian Joe.
That's what I thought too, but he seemed like a friendly guy to Wayne.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, but maybe he just didn't want to kill him today.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Did they ever really
take a shot at him at one point, didn't he?
He did. Well, he shot toward him and was shooting a rabbit or something, he said.
Yeah.
He said, if I wanted to hit you, I would have. Now, did they ever really confirm that he was killing everybody?
I
was looking for a panther or something running around.
Yeah, your panthers.
I sure do. But I'm serious though. Like that's one thing that kind of got to me. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, if if the giant is still entombed until a third of the movie's done, who the hell was killing everybody? I'm feeling you with Indian Joe. I'm feeling you there. Yeah. I just don't think they really highlighted enough. They might have said one line we both missed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much.
No. Now, the ending, Timo.
No, it's got a little left to be desired. It sure does.
One of my favorite things in cinema is when people fall off of buildings or cliffs or any type of object. Yeah. And the way they look when they're falling.
Yeah.
And it's not from like a shot when you're down. You see like what you know is a mannequin being thrown off of something.
Right.
It's not those shots. It's the ones that are like with a back screen or something like which this one was. And,
right.
This one had to be in the top 2 or 3 of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Which I quite enjoyed. I applauded. It was that bad. And it went on for a while. It wasn't like, oh, and then they cut it. No, it was like, oh, and then it got worse.
It was definitely Earth versus the spider effects. Yeah. It's either dummy or a really bad green screen moment. And we got the really bad green screen moment. I will tell you, it's got to be one of the worst I've ever seen also.
Yeah, and Tim, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean?
So but like you said, it's awful. It's so,
right.
But now this film, I don't know, buddy. There are a couple scenes that has some tension and stuff like that. But I did think about you a few times. There's the one lady, daughter of Mrs. Cleveland, I guess the daughter.
Janet Cleveland.
Yes. Janet Cleveland, daughter Cleveland. She,
Miss Cleveland. Yes,
Miss Cleveland. She did you notice when she showed up the one time? She said, "I made sandwiches, brought sandwiches and such." Right?
Yes.
And then the one kid whose girlfriend was murdered by the conquistador or the giant.
Yes.
He showed up and he didn't really know how. I don't think he knew how to work a gun or anything type stuff. Yeah. So they made him basically. Yeah, can't you do some dishes or make some coffee? Yeah, make some coffee. So that poor guy got relegated back to sandwiches and coffee and stuff. But it was just glaring how they did.
Lots of paper cup coffees with those little like paper handles that'll like cut your fingers into.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I got that far into looking at the coffee. I'm like, oh my god, look, it's got those cups with the little like the little paper handles on it that cut you. That give you paper cuts and stuff like that. Yeah. There was definitely a lot of coffee talk on. We were having a good time with the coffee and sandwiches. Yeah, for sure.
So I just met you out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah,
and you're looking for a giant who's killing. It's on a killing spree across the countryside.
Right.
But I made just sandwiches.
Right.
Make sure I made sandwiches. What in the flip? Hey,
they wanted that guy to get over his girlfriend dying quick too. I mean, they're like, look, Mac, I was in the war, lost all my friends. You ain't got nothing on me. You know, that was it. It's like, get over it. You can be bummed out later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But it's only been a half hour.
I know. Here's something. I want to know if you picked up on this because it was one of those things that I picked up on right away. Away. I didn't even say anything when we were watching the movie because there wasn't much that needed to be said to chuckle at this film. Let's put that. There wasn't much needed to be said. But, you'd think a 500-year-old Spanish conquistador would at least be mildly intellectually curious at the sight of a Jeep.
Yeah.
And other modern amenities that were floating around the wood. He just kind of walked up to the Jeep and he pulled the seat up. He pushed the seat up to get to the girl to pull her out. I'm like, how did he know how to do? I don't even know how to do that on Jeep. I got to fumble around under the seat to see how do I push the seat forward. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And this 500-year-old half-nude Spanish conquistador, he
must be from Toledo, Spain.
He must be from Toledo, Spain. You're right.
So that Jeep, Timo, probably was made right here in old Toledo, Ohio, too.
Maybe, but you think at least he'd rear back for a second.
Yeah. Or at least
what is this horseless drawn carriage thing? What is this?
What is this? Yeah. Or at least ponder it for a second. No, he went right for. He's like, I know how to work this shit.
Young lass, I see you have a chariot without horses. What is it? You know, I mean, it's like, yeah, not even mildly like intellectually curious about what that was. I thought that was hilarious. You know, so anyway, you know, look, this is one of my movies. This is one of, and I haven't seen this too many times. I'm pretty sure this is on Mystery Science Theater at some point. I couldn't find it. I don't have it. I even looked on Shout Factory for it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen this on Mystery Science.
I'm not either, but I think it. I really do think it was. I'm almost positive it was. It might have been like in that first 2 seasons that I don't acknowledge with that with Josh Weinstein or whatever. I just don't acknowledge those seasons. I had fun with this movie. It's actually a touch long for these movies. It's an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 17. They're usually just north of an hour. It's not that bad though. Look, I did have fun. I thought the sheriff guy, Bob Steele, I liked his assholeness. I kind of thought that kind of brought, because I mean, immediately I don't like you. You know, it's like, I just don't like this guy. There's really no rhyme or reason why he doesn't like him. No. He just doesn't really like him.
He went Brian Dennehy from First Blood on him.
A little bit, yeah. I don't know if this is a proto First Blood movie or not, but still, I'm going to give Giant from the Unknown one of those goofy great babes up. I had fun watching it. Yeah. I did. Jack Pierce has done better work, but I bet old Buddy Bear was glad he wasn't in that Frankenstein monster makeup.
Oh, I bet he was. Yeah.
But I kind of enjoyed this, and I think the Giant guy was kind of imposing. I just you almost feel something in the future. You almost feel something from the 70s or something, or early 80s in this movie.
Yeah.
And if they would have expanded on when the Giant was around and lurking about, they would have probably had a little minor classic on their hands here. I think it's the first half of it where I guess it's Indian Joe killing people, where you kind of are like, what's going on, you know? And that is where they could have cut about that 17 minutes out. They made this a little bit closer to an hour-long movie. You know, I don't know, 1958, I think they kind of wanted to be a little more legit, make it a little bit longer, I guess. You know, I don't know. Yeah. But just a regular, mild B-movie great bape up. Again, if you're one of these people that like Friday the 13th and Halloween, but you're not really in these old movies, stay away. This is not going to be one you like. If you like these old drive-in movies, like I tend to like, this is a fun one. It's breezy, and it's got some good moments. So no matter what you think of it, it's got some good moments in it. So I'm going to give it a mild B-movie great bape up. How about you?
Yeah, same thing, Timo. More of a milder, maybe great ape up. But like which happens to me a lot, and it's just me. I think what hurt this movie for me was the Giant. I kind of wish it was something a little different. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the hell I'm sitting here thinking while we're talking about it. What else different it could have been.
Right.
Maybe a Bigfoot. I don't know. Something. But like I just the conquistador thing kind of threw me a little. I'm like, I don't know about that. But hey, why not? Hey, who knows? It could have been hugely popular.
Yeah, they could have given him a Fu Manchu mustache and some fangs or something. You know, just something silly and some eyebrows.
Droopy eye.
Some better eyebrows or something. But this was Jack Pierce. Who are we? Who are we to question the great Jack Pierce? So two mild B movie, right? 2 mild B movie, great babes up. For Giant from the Unknown. Let's get to our second official film from 1983. Yes. We have the David Cronenberg film based off of the Stephen King book, The Dead Zone.
Dead Zone.
Yes, starring Christopher Walken. Let me get you out. Let me get you out, movie guy, and give you a really short one-line synopsis storyline here. Here we go. A man awakens from a coma to discover he has psychic ability.
Whoa.
That's good. So Christopher Walken plays Johnny, and he is in love with Brooke Adams. Mm-hmm. And we're kind of a little bit on a Brooke Adams freak out a little bit. We're talking about her a lot lately. And he's driving home, and what else was going to happen but a milk truck turns over and ruins his day on his way home.
Really ruins his day.
So he ends up being in a coma for quite a while. When he wakes up, while he's
5 years or something.
Yeah, while he wakes up and he's trying to rehabilitate, he realizes his whole life has left him basically, and he was gifted psychic premonitions when he touches people sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know, I think a lot of people listening to this have probably seen Dead Zone. Dead Zone's not even necessarily a horror fan movie. Dead Zone was a pretty mainstream movie. It's not a blood and guts type of film. It really is more of a mainstream kind of story. More of a, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a mystery, but there's more drama in it, I think, about his condition and stuff like that. That being said, it still has a really that David Cronenberg feel, man. Every time he makes a movie, there's something ain't right about it. And
right.
And
this is one of them.
right. No exception whatsoever. So basically, this movie is almost like a little anthology. It's almost it goes where he gets into his accident. He has the premonition with the nurse. Then he moves on to his doctor, seeing his doctor's mother in World War II Germany. And then he wants to start teaching. So he starts tutoring a kid, and he has a premonition then. And while he's there, he also has a premonition with a politician, played by Martin Sheen. So it is like a stories within a story, almost like edited together television, 4 episodes of an edited together television series in a way. That's how it's formatted, I guess, if you will. Again, 1983, right in there in that good era. Right, and right tickling the end of it. Tickling the end of that good era, but still there. Now, Harley, we've all seen this movie quite a few times, but has it been a while for you?
Yeah, like a long, long time. And I've been trying to think, and I'm still racking my brain. I feel like I saw this in the theater. Okay. But then I'm like, I can't remember who I was with or whatnot, and because this was one that kind of shocked me. And I feel like that I was at the theater because it was a little bit more shocking than me watching it on Showtime for some odd reason. I don't know, buddy. I can't really remember, but it's just been so long. You know what I mean? Right. I would have been like 12 or something, and I would have had to either sneak in or go see it with someone, and that's why I just can't remember. Right. But this film really shocked me, man. Like it did. Like I remember Christopher Walken, like from this and like The Deer Hunter, really, you know what I mean? Like, and I remember in this, The Deer Hunter was a little bit above my, at that time when I was younger, it was a little above me. I didn't get it. Yeah,
I can report back to you that there's
jumped around a little.
It's not as much getting it. It's just not that great of a movie, and it's got great parts. Don't get me wrong; it has amazing parts. But The Deer Hunter is a little overrated. I mean, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, but it does have great moments.
But like Christopher Walken, like if I'd probably never seen him again, ever, I would still have remembered him from this movie. He's just so.
You can't
I don't
forget
know.
Christopher Walken.
No, you can't. And this was just like perfect for him, a perfect vehicle for him.
I agree. I absolutely agree. That was one thing I did tell NGO when we were watching. I said, this is perfect for Christopher Walken. It is all of his weird sensibilities and odd eccentricities. They fit perfectly here. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just freaked me out. Like, and I remember not really understanding it like fully too back then, but like being really just freaked out by life. A lot of it, being with the hockey player, the scene with the players going through the ice. Yeah. That bothered me as a kid. The part, I guess people have seen this, but there's just let's just say with the scissors part freaked me out as a kid. I still don't understand it. Why are you doing like that? I don't know.
But, he was a little off his rocker. Let's put it.
Yeah. But going back and seeing this movie, I really enjoyed the story. Yeah, I really did. Like I never really understood it, I guess, and it's just. This was just one of those I saw once or twice back when I was younger, and I didn't really gravitate towards it. But I understood it was a great movie and stuff. But it's just been so long. It's probably been 35 years or something since I've seen this movie.
Wow. Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, but it's just one of the movies that stuck with me, kind of. You know what I mean? It's just the way it was shot and how dreary it was, and how Christopher Walken was and everything, you know what I mean? So, but I enjoyed watching this again. I really did, and I got it. and I understand it so much better now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm glad. It's one of those I'm glad we went back and watched.
Right.
Like big time.
Right. The one thing about this movie too, especially from 1983, this has got like it's a dream cast. I think the cast in this movie is amazing. We have Herbert Lom, otherwise known as Chief Inspector Dreyfus, as the doctor, as Christopher Walken's doctor, who's got it. This is an amazing performance. I'm not even sure who was nominated or nothing that year. I think he should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. That's just my opinion. I think Lom was great in this movie. Of course, we mentioned Brooke Adams, who we talked about a lot of these movies. Anthony Zerbe plays the kid's dad in the movie. Now, I always liked him. I saw him first in the television series Centennial that I've talked about before. You might, I'm trying to think, like, I know you've known his face, but he was one of the main bad dudes in an Omega Man. With the white shit all over his face and stuff like that.
He was the main, the main bad guy.
Right. Right. So I like him. Tom Skerritt as the sheriff guy. I always like Tom Skerritt. Very good.
Oh, he's good in it.
And
too,
Martin Sheen as your typical evil Republican in the movie. I have to admit, when I was watching this, I was sitting there going, is there ever once like somebody who's a left-wing guy is a villain in these movies? Like even once? Like it's like,
no.
I don't know.
I know there was like one scene when he's shaking that one guy down like a reporter or whatever.
Right.
And it's a total mob scene. It's like, I just don't watch The Sopranos. I know a shakedown when I see it. And like, I'm like, he's shaking him down, and it's so funny. Prominently behind him. Boom, right there.
Right.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Boom, right there.
Oh, it was definitely, there was a lot of Reagan stuff going on. Like, a lot of wink, nod, nod. Look, and I believe me, I think Republicans act this way. I just also think the Democrats act that way too. I think they both are bullies. I think think they both have it in them to do what you saw in this movie. Let's put it to you that way. It just always seems to be, it's kind of funny too, because it's always a right wing and it's evil. But the funny thing is that, evil wings flap.
Yeah.
It's the part in the middle that does the thinking and the driving, right?
Exactly.
So you can flap your wings all you want. I'm just going to sit here and look at both of you going, geez, whatever, man. But that being aside, us being old movie fans, we're used to that. We can handle that. That's not that. Exactly. That's not that big of a deal, because I'm not dismissing the fact that these evil people exist on, no matter who you vote for, you can be evil. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The other thing that's interesting about the film too is that honestly, I've seen this movie, I bet, a dozen times, if not more.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that really, I'm shocked that never really stood out to me before is how much The Raven and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow are referenced in this film.
That's right. He mentioned Ichabod Crane more than once.
And they're reading The Raven, the poem, a lot in the film too. I loved it, and I was shocked. I was sitting there watching this going, and it might have been somewhere between 5 and 10 years since I've seen it, but I've seen it a lot. Yeah. Like I remember telling Angio, I don't have to watch this movie to review it. And she said, well, I haven't seen it in a very long time, if ever. I was like, well, we've watched it for sure. I was like, it's probably been a long time. So we sat down and watched it for her benefit, and she loved it. But I'm just saying, I didn't have to, but I'm glad I did just for that alone. Yeah. For that alone, I totally, that slipped my mind. I'm like, I've been a Poe fan, and I like some Legend of Sleepy Hollow too. I like that stuff a lot, and I don't remember that at all. Like, I just don't remember it. Just didn't even ring a bell to me. So I thought that was very cool going back. And really, honestly, Ben, it's cool because even someone like me, and you've seen some of these movies multiple times too, but you always go back, it seems like you always find something, don't you? You always find something, and it blows your mind.
And I think really too, Timo, nowadays with the way how everything's gotten better as far as, especially the jump from VHS to DVD.
Oh, yeah.
We see so much more, too. It's just like,
right.
I think some of the stuff that they thought might be a little more hidden back then, it's not so hidden now.
That's true, too. That's absolutely true. There's some movies where the new transfers do definitely show their pimples. That's for sure. I watched this. I bought this on Amazon as a stream. So I actually own an HD stream that's not too bad. It looks all right. It's kind of a squirty kind of little HD transfer. It's not great, but this movie isn't really that much eye candy. Like
very dreary.
Right. And like you were just mentioning,
and wintertime.
Yes. And like you were just mentioning, some of these movies, it doesn't help them to be too sharp, to be too much. No. It kind of hurts it a little. It kind of takes you out of it a little bit. And again, it's not IQ or anything like that. But this is a great film, though. This is a great film. This is one of Cronenberg's absolute best films of all time. And not only that, but it's one of the great, I don't want to call it, it's kind of a fantasy drama horror mashup a little bit. Yeah. When it comes to that type of film, this is one of the greats of all time. Mm-hmm. You know, I would put this movie with the, what was that? Was it, the Medusa touch. Okay. If you remember, it was kind of like the psychic abilities and things happening around him and stuff. I think this movie, and that movie was great. Richard Burton was great in that film, but this movie towers above it. Just towers above it. It's just an incredible Stephen King adaptation, which people don't realize there was a spurt of them, then it was over.
Yep.
A spurt over. I don't care about.
And I think this is by far and away one of the better ones. Yes. And I was thinking that while I was watching it, and I was like, "This is good." You know, this is just a good version of one of his stories. I mean, and I'd never read the story, but I'm just saying.
I haven't either. No.
I just feel like feels. I don't know. It's different than some of his other ones. It just feels different. This movie to me has a definite tactile feel to it. To me, I mean, I just this movie. Maybe it's because when I saw it when I was younger, the way I felt when I saw it. But
mechanical,
even now,
like a mechanical feel to it.
Yeah,
almost like a Kubrick, like a Stanley Kubrick almost feel.
It's got a feel to it. Right? I feel this movie like it's just I don't know. Maybe it's because it's just kind of dreary at times, and the way that his acting, and it is a lot of snow. Well, the whole thing too with the kids going through the ice, that was a big fear of mine as a kid. Now some of the ponds we were on weren't that deep, but you still could die, or we were out on the river and stuff like that.
Right.
That's
I think you're feeling Cronenberg. I mean, I think you're feeling David Cronenberg. I mean, Cronenberg to me, and this sounds funny, but Cronenberg to me is like a and I mentioned Kubrick. So he's kind of like Kubrick. If Kubrick was having like one of those days where you're just feeling nasty, like you're feeling like you're feeling like
Monday.
Well, that's not what I mean. What am I looking for here? David Cronenberg is the perverted on magic mushrooms version of Stanley Kubrick. He's got a lot of perverse stuff. This movie is a little devoid of that. But a little perverse, but he does have like this pace and this against all odds calmness to everything that he does. All the scenes, even when they're out of their minds crazy, there's a calmness about them, like a pace to them that never skips a beat. And I think that this movie really, really showcases that. Completely.
I don't know why too. The scene in the gazebo. Always freaked me out a lot too when he's trying to find who the killer is, and he's just you can never see his face right there. Right at that point, and he's like, "Come on, come up here," type thing. Like, why? Well, come up here. I want to show you something. That whole scene was weird to me then, and still now. It's very like I don't know. It's just it's well done. I mean, and it's so simple. It's simple.
A lot of emotion.
Super simple.
A lot of emotion coming through the mechanical structure of it.
Maybe it's because you know what's about to happen. You're like, no, don't go up there. No,
right.
But I don't know. It's good. And I'm glad. And when we talked about doing this, I know we've talked about it a few times, but I'm happy that we did. And I've been looking forward to doing this one.
That killer's mom's a dick too, by the way. Well, I'm going to give the movie a huge great bape up. One of the greats. There's no doubt about it to me. I mean, this is just an excellent movie. I'm glad we went back and watched it just for nothing else to catch the Legend of Sleepy Hollow and especially the Raven knowing me and all that on there. So very, very good. Big, great bape up. How about you?
Yeah, to the rafters on this one, buddy. Okay. I'm glad we went back and watched it. And it's a great film. Great film.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I don't know what we're doing next week with Ben Harley, but we will report back from, I might be hurting because it's a Fragile Porcelain Mice show at Del Mar Hall. This coming weekend, but we will report back from Vet City. Kind of let everybody know how that went for us all. So until then, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.